North champion Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit. It's now time for Woodward and Maine.
Good day, everybody. Happy, what's this, Thanksgiving?
It's Thanksgiving, Terry.
It's Thanksgiving. I've never been in this studio on a Thanksgiving morning.
Not once ever.
No.
Have you ever gotten your hair cut on Thanksgiving? No,
Never.
Probably not.
No.
Have you ever had a blueberry muffin for breakfast on Thanksgiving?
This morning?
Today?
Yeah, I had myself a little blueberry muffin.
Come on, it's a year of firsts.
I got to get my stomach moving for later on today.
Create some space by fueling it a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's a big day of eating.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm thankful to be here with you, Terry, on Thanksgiving. And the whole crew. We got Chase, Pete
Right.
Spivak, KG just walked in.
What better gang to be with?
Right. On a Thanksgiving Thursday, we got the Lions versus the Bears at 12:30 p.m. Afternoon. You know, it's early, Terry.
If it's 12:30 a.m., I'm not going to be watching that guy. I'll be asleep before kickoff.
That's what Monday night football games are turning into. Sunday night football games. I feel like I'm up till midnight, till 1 o'clock a.m. anyway, preparing.
Now, the Lions play today at 12:30.
Yep.
Are you up for the second game, Dallas and the Giants?
No.
I'm usually asleep by then.
Yeah.
And I wake up like in the third quarter, and the game is pretty much done.
And that's even if it's a good game.
Right.
Which they usually have a good game after the Lions. The Lions games historically has been the not so good game. The Cowboys and the Giants.
Mm-hmm. See, I try not to eat into the second half of the Lions game.
So you take the first half off. You don't get started until the first half's over?
No, I may have a little snicky snack.
Okay. You snacking?
Yeah.
Like Rex Ryan. You know, you take his advice on Thanksgiving, you know, let's go eat a damn snack. Rex Ryan and the Jets. I think that was Braylon's year.
Yeah.
Or at least Braylon was around the team back in the early 2000s. But you don't actually dig into dinner.
No, you should hang on until 4 o'clock.
Okay. Is that when your dinner started?
Yeah, it was supposed to start at 4, but we always start late.
Okay. What are you cooking this year?
I cooked a turkey breast.
Okay.
I mean, I smoked it.
Is that the usual style of turkey that you like?
It's what I usually do.
A smoked breast?
Since I have the Traeger grill.
Okay.
I smoke that rascal and grill it, however you want to call it. But it came out really well.
You've tasted it already.
When you're a chef, you have to try.
You're right.
Your recipe.
You're right.
Or your masterpiece.
And you're cooking breakfast this morning, aren't you?
Yes, I saw a little breakfast recipe on TikTok.
Look at this. Terry on TikTok. TikTok Terry on Turkey Day.
That's why you can't get rid of TikTok.
You could scroll and then you just see one thing and you get down the rabbit hole again.
I wake up in the morning and the wife has already sent me 3 TikToks.
Just of are they all recipes or of anything?
No, it's just stuff. It's people fighting. She sent me one where one-punch knockouts, which is very spectacular.
Like just.
Then there's always some Lion stuff spliced in, some Goff stuff spliced in.
Oh yeah.
So now, I get that every morning.
Recently, you're seeing Holly Campbell, Dan Campbell's wife, all over social media, to the point where Dan Campbell addressed the media in his press conference saying, I'm not answering any more questions about the pictures that she's sharing. Because, you know, the picture of the dog on Victory Monday went viral.
What kind of pictures is she sharing?
She's sharing, like, you know, Dan Campbell behind the scenes, you know.
He's got to stop that.
Big teddy bear Dan Campbell with his little dog. I don't know what breed it is. It's a little baby dog. It's smaller than the coffee that he drinks. Right in his lap on Victory Monday.
Big guys cuddle with little cute puppies.
that is Dan
amazing.
Campbell, which is it's just funny the paradox of the Dan Campbell we know as Lions coach. Who?
Jimmy King.
Jimmy King from the Fab Five.
He had a cute little dog in his purse.
At Michigan?
No, it was after Michigan.
Why?
Because
I guess
cute.
why not?
Because it was this woman's dog, and she wanted him to take care of it. So she used to give him. It wasn't a purse. It was a little carry-on thing. It would look like a purse.
Yeah, but the little dog can fit in. That dog.
Yes.
If we're calling that a dog.
Let's take a look. Let's get a closer view and try to figure out what we're looking at. I was going to say Yorkie.
Yeah, that was the dog he had.
Yep.
Little Yorkie.
He got big 6'9", 300-pound Dan Campbell giving his speeches in the locker room.
Yorkie, what's its name?
No, Thelma and Bird. I don't know which one this is, but his dogs are named Thelma and Bird.
Oh, is it? Oh, this dog looks like it would be named Tweaky.
Tweaky. Eric is still wagging in the chat, says that's Bird, I believe. I think it's Bird. What a picture, though. I can't wait to start eating. I can't. Terry, shout out to Art Donovan. I'm a light eater. As soon as it gets light, I start eating. We're talking as soon as I get home. We're starting to dig into the refrigerator.
Are you excited more about the eating or your Detroit Lions today?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's not. It definitely hasn't been like this my entire life. I'm more excited for the Detroit Lions this year. I can't wait for this game. I know that's on 3 days rest. I know there are injuries, Terry, some important injuries to this Lions team, but pretty sure the Bears are on 3 days rest too.
Yeah, and really, we talk about trying to protect athletes. You should never play a Thursday football game.
No,
after
ever.
Playing a Sunday game.
Ever. I believe, don't hold me to this, but I'm 99% sure the most injuries happen on Thursday night games. Or the foul. Well, I guess they would get some time off, but it's the Thursday night games. Yeah. This has been tough, Terry. 7 straight years that the Lions have lost on Thanksgiving.
Right.
6 of which have been 6 points or less. Lions are not good on Thanksgiving historically.
Correct.
Does it change today? Until today.
There's going to be no problem. Lions have been kicking people's ass. They've been taking names. And I know they've lost 7 in a row, but today the jinx, or whatever you want to call it, will not continue.
It's gone.
They're better than everybody else. They're better than the Bears. I'm sure the Bears will score the first points like everybody does, but you can't sustain it.
No.
The Lions are the better team. They're more focused. They'll win.
They will. Greg Alspa in the chat. Shout out your shirt, Terry. Says Terry Shirts, 2 smiley faces and a thumbs up. Shout out everybody in the chat, by the way. I see you, Doughboy Steve, who is in here first. QT, Wolverine, John effing Lord. We got some studs in here. Brian Ruth, Cryptomania, Mike Music. Hey, if you all could hit that like button for us, that'd be really helpful. It's Thanksgiving Day. We're getting your day started here on Woodward and Maine. That's Terry Foster, the Detroit sports media legend. My name is Matt Broder. I also want to shout out everyone on Twitch. We got the Twitch screen, Twitch stream up right now. So shout out to you if you guys are in that chat. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm with Terry.
Hello, Twitch.
Hello, Twitch, Terry. I'm with you. The Lions, that streak ends today. It ends today. The Lions are going to beat the Bears.
Well, there's 2 streaks going on there, Paddlefoot. One is the 7-year
Paddlefoot. Okay.
There's the 7-year winless streak for the Lions, and then there's the 8-game winning streak for the Lions. Which one ends?
Oh, it's the losing streak on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to make sure
that winning streak keeps going. Actually, I think it's 9 in a row.
9 in a row. You're correct.
So they're going to get to double digits. And mind blown right now, Terry. The Lions can clinch a playoff spot.
They could. It's not going to happen, but yeah, they could.
Whether it happens or not, they could. Week 13 on Thanksgiving. We're talking about the Lions having lost 7 straight. They can clinch a playoff berth.
Usually on Thanksgiving, the Lions have been eliminated from the playoffs. So how about that?
Yeah, we're talking NFL draft. Who the Lions going to take with the a top 5 pick? Not this year.
Why do they even play in December? That's what we usually say. Yes.
There we go. So
that's too many moving parts.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's the point that it could. And I think I mean, they're in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed in the NFC. And speaking of eating birds, Terry, do you think it comes down to the Lions and the Eagles? And more speaking of eating birds, they beat the Cardinals. They beat the Seahawks. There were 2 birds that Brian Branch showed us in Green Bay.
Why are you so dismissive of Green Bay and Minnesota?
I don't believe in them yet. They're going to make the playoffs. They got some talented teams. This Lions team is built different. I think it comes down to the Lions and the Eagles.
I'm going to throw Minnesota and Green Bay in for only one reason.
Only one?
I know the teams in the division hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
Or at some point they start hating each other. And so that's what makes the division games more difficult.
Yeah.
Like the Bears and the Lions. The Lions should just kick the Bears' ass and throw them in the middle of Woodward. But you know the Bears and their fans hate the Lions.
Yeah. You think
They don't like this, oh, look at the Lions. They're the team to beat. You know, that's killing them in Chicago.
it's killing them, but this is the new way of life.
Yeah, it is.
In the past, last year, maybe even earlier this year, we're talking about what do the Lions need to do to win this game, to beat this team, to beat that team. It's not like that anymore. Mm-hmm. It's what do those teams, what does the opponent need to do to beat the Lions? Lions just have to play their brand of football. They got to play their game, whether it's run it down your throat, or I should say yam it down your throat for today, stuffing the running game on defense. Mm-hmm. The Lions have multiple ways to win games, and they can do it no matter who's coming at them. It's about the other team making the Lions make some mistakes.
Lure the quarterback into mistakes.
That's what the Bears did last year.
Here's what I think is happening this year. Is one, the Lions are superior to everyone that they play. Mm-hmm. But I still think that other teams come at them with a lot of emotion. They're convinced they're going to beat the Lions. And so that's why we see these teams come out, score first, maybe keep the Lions off the scoreboard. And they're feeling sorry. I mean, they're feeling good about themselves, jumping up and down, all swelled up and everything. But the bottom line is emotion wears off at some point. It can't last for 60 minutes. And so after you get all your hee-hees and ha-has out the way, then it's time to play football. Mm-hmm. The better team takes over. And by the second quarter, we're like, okay, is this a game or not?
Usually we can tell.
Right.
And by the second quarter, into the third quarter, we're getting fresh legs, whether it's Monty or Jahmyr Gibbs. One of them hasn't ran much up to that point. They split their series, and you got weapons that are fresh because of how this team uses them and how they plan for this, because this team's built different.
Right. Another thing happened with the Lions is they no longer stink in the third quarter. That was an issue.
It was.
So if they're coming out in the third quarter, not with their pants on fire, but in a decent manner, then these games are usually over by the time the fourth quarter starts.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be like that today?
Yes. I think the Bears, they'll come out with all kinds of emotion, and they'll be jumping up and down and screaming, and may even be ahead in the first quarter. But at some point, Caleb Williams will make a mistake. Mm-hmm. The defense, the Bears' defense won't be as stout as they think they are, and that people get worn down.
Yeah.
When you play the Lions, not only do you have to deal with their talent, but you've got to try to remain as fresh as possible for 60 minutes, which is impossible. They wear your ass down. At the beginning of the fourth quarter, you're like, shit, I'm tired. Not tired, but tired.
Tired. That's that fourth quarter tryptophan starts hitting on the field. Jahmyr Gibbs isn't tired.
Right.
Tired.
And we see teams quit. It's happened a couple times this year.
Yeah. And we've seen Bears players quit a couple times this year. We talk all the Bears, they were started 4-2. They should have won 3 more games. They should be a 7-4 team, but they're not.
No.
Because they have players who quit. They have players who are pumping up the Washington Commanders crowd while there's a play going on behind him. Like this team is poorly coached.
Lions gonna get somebody else fired.
That's what they do.
Yes, but the other thing is, and people don't talk about this, about the Lions' mental toughness and how focused they are and how smart they are. This is a smart football team.
Yeah, and football's 90% mental, and the other half is physical.
True.
Shout out to Yogi Berra. It's a mental game. It is a mental game. They'll destroy you physically. They'll wear you down, like you said, especially at the beginning of the game. They usually run it with Monty, who is playing today. How much he'll be used to be determined. They run it down your throat. They stuff it down your throat behind Penei Sewell.
I've got an idea for a new T-shirt, a new Lions T-shirt that the players could wear.
What?
Bitch, please, I'm a Detroit Lion.
It takes a very special person.
Right.
Bitch, please, I'm a Detroit Lion.
Right. Wear that shirt. Or
Wear
make
that.
it up.
Yeah. It's it. Well, by the third quarter, I hope to be so full that I have to start removing layers. So I'll put on my T-shirt too.
Removing layers.
Yeah, you're eating so much that you want to remove maybe your sweatshirt, and this is what we want to see.
Dropped your water. You better get it down.
Yeah, the water. It's spilled.
You know what? I love that picture. I love the still shot of St. Brown on his head. When he did it, it was really cool. But when they stop it and take a photograph, that looks even better.
Yes.
It sure does. Tim Patrick, I don't know if that part was planned, but Tim Patrick behind him making the it's a perfect picture. I had to. They play the Packers next week, but it's Thanksgiving Day. We just I want to see some St. Brown touchdown celebrations.
Well, he's talked about that this week. He's got some stuff under his sleeve. If he scores, we're going to get to see something.
This team's funny.
Not
This
if.
team's creative.
Right. So that's my favorite celebration. They're right there on your T-shirt.
Is it better than the Hutch stanky leg that he used to do? He did last year?
You know what? I didn't like this Hutch stanky leg because he stanked it so much. I said, Hutch is going to hurt his leg. And he did. But not doing the celebration.
I know. But you worry about that. I always think of Martin Gramatica. Remember the old Buccaneers kicker?
Oh, God.
Tearing his ACL, jumping up and celebrating after a win.
Right.
Or I think it might have been Terrence Long on the Oakland A's who celebrated a walk-off home run by jumping on home plate. But his cleat slid off and snapped his leg. Might not have been Terrence Long, but someone on the A's. Jason Giambi? Or Jeremy? Who knows?
Jeremy Giambi.
Who knows? The Lions team, whether it's the Montgomery and J-Mo Dice rolling, or the Jahmyr Gibbs doing the Chris Johnson / Jacoby Jones dance.
And I told you what the
zone.
great thing about the dice rolling was that they had the wherewithal to smooth out
Yes.
the turf. And you do that, usually you do it on dirt, and you smooth out the dirt so the dice will roll correctly.
And they included that in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This team, it's attention to detail, Terry. They practice it. The game plan Ben Johnson puts in, the plays they run, the deceptives. This team's used to, having a good attention to detail. They do it with the dances too.
Yes. And attention to detail, receivers blocking, Penei Sewell moving people out the way 30, 40 yards down the field. They don't quit on plays.
No.
It's like, oh, yeah, I know Gibbs just got 15 yards. Well, damn, let's get him 20.
That play last week, we've talked about literally lifting Montgomery off the turf and carrying him an extra 5 to 10 yards. There was one last week where Montgomery, his first contact was at like the 22, 23 yard line. The play ended at the 6 or the 7 or he went another 18 yards.
Now, I know we give Montgomery a lot of credit for being tough, for being a motherfucker. But on some of these plays, my man is floating through the air.
Yeah.
He's like 4 or 5 feet up in the air, and that's because his teammates are shoving him in there.
That would motivate me to keep the legs chopping.
Right. And we never saw those plays before, but the Lions do it a lot. We have the brotherly shove and all that stuff. The Lions, they do the brotherly shove at the 2 yard line or in. Lions do it anywhere on the field.
Anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere. Because they got Penei Sewell trailing behind saying, nope, we're pushing this forward.
Yeah, that dude is different.
He is. Terry, I think it's going to be over in the fourth quarter too, but I think it might be for a different reason than what you're thinking. I actually think this game could get out of hand. You want to know why? And it relates to Eberflus. It relates to the Lions. The Lions get coaches fired. That's what they do. It wasn't Thanksgiving last year. It was Monday Night Football against the Raiders. Did they get someone fired earlier this season?
I
can't
forget
remember
who it is, but yeah.
but they do. I think this might be one of the best. This might be one of the best all-around games for the Lions.
Well, Eberflus is incompetent.
Yes.
Let's get that out the way. The Chicago Bears organization, even though they're building a good roster, they're clownish. They don't know how to handle quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, I think if he could flourish if he was somewhere else. I think his major problems he's with the Bears. He's not getting the right coaching that he needs.
Right, especially on the offensive end. I know they did make a coordinator switch, the OC, a couple weeks ago, and he's looking a little better. But I won't take them seriously until they address the interior of their offensive line. You get a rookie quarterback, but you don't address the interior of your offensive line. That's trouble brewing immediately. Okay, you can have all the weapons you want. You can have all the weapons you want.
That's the Bears organization.
It makes no sense. We'll go pay a bunch of receivers. We'll pay DeAndre Swift $27 million, way more than Montgomery. That's what they do. But why I think it's going to be a blowout, Terry, this is going to be the best coach game from Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson of the season. They have an interview today at 12:30 p.m.
Okay, now
They have an interview live in front of America for the job they might have next year in Chicago.
Don't you think they're thinking more about how do we get a win today?
Yes.
How to
Part
be
two.
efficient today?
Yeah.
They're not thinking about that.
It's not the primary thought, Terry, but
they're putting it out there.
they're putting it out there. They know, hey, this is one of those. Honestly, if I'm Ben Johnson, I feel dirty saying this on Thanksgiving. If I'm Ben Johnson, I want that job, and I want to build an offensive line, and then I'm good.
What job do you want if you're Ben Johnson?
I want the Bears. I want the Bears job.
I'd rather have the Cowboys job, even though Jerry Jones is down there. If you're coaching the Cowboys, A, you get paid more. B, you're on national TV more. C, you got a hell of a stadium.
That's true.
You just got to deal with Jerry Jones.
I don't want to deal with that. He didn't want to deal with Carolina. Tepper. I'm not going. He's not going to Dallas. They already spent all their BS money. I would rather go to the Giants. Dare I say the Jets? I'd rather go to the Giants if I'm Ben Johnson than the Cowboys. At least the Giants, you can draft your quarterback or go find your quarterback. They got pieces on defense. You just got to find the right DC.
You don't think he can do something with Dak Prescott?
He can, but what else? You got Dak and CeeDee Lamb. You don't have a running back. You don't have an offensive line. You got to pay Micah.
All right. Dallas traditionally has had a strong offensive line. You can do that again. They can find a running back. Yes. No. Yes,
Maybe.
they can. And
Ezekiel Elliott?
And no, it won't be Ezekiel Elliott. He's done.
Better not be.
But he can revive Dak Prescott. Remember, Jared Goff, bridge quarterback, here for a couple years, and then you just get rid of his ass. That hasn't happened. So why can't he do it with Dak Prescott?
Because he's already been paid. He's already all about himself.
Yeah, but you get some of that Ben Johnson magic, and some stuff can happen.
Ben Johnson is special. Actually, if there's a job I want, and this is partly why I'm so confident in the Lions making their run to the Super Bowl, going and getting that number 1 seed, the Eagles' job might be available. If something happens at the end of this year, Nick Sirianni might be out. But my confidence in this team, any game for the remainder of the season, but really in the playoffs, throughout the playoffs, they're going to have the best head coach and the best quarterback in every game they play. Doesn't seem like the Rams might miss the playoffs, so McVay might be out. Kyle Shanahan might be out of the playoffs. I'll take Dan Campbell and Jared Goff over any quarterback and coach twosome, duo in the NFC. They don't have to mess with Jim Harbaugh and Lamar, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Did I say Jim or John? John Harbaugh and Lamar. Jim and Justin Herbert and McDermott and Josh Allen.
Jalen Hurts is pretty good.
They are the class of the NFC.
Jalen Hurts is pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
Turnover prone, but he's a very good quarterback.
I like Jalen Hurts. I'm taking Jared Goff this year. Right now, I'm taking Jared Goff over any quarterback in the NFC. I'm not taking him over Lamar, Josh Allen.
Well,
and Patrick
you know
Mahomes.
what? The Lamar thing, I'm not convinced of. we're talking about Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. He's got to show me that he can be that guy.
Mm-hmm. He does. That's the one thing missing in his game.
Right.
Getting over
and
the
you know
hump.
who else was missing that for much of his career? Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was choking the playoffs too.
Yeah. And that's what we would talk about Peyton Manning, who we saw on the screen a couple minutes ago. Back in 2004, 6 touchdowns against the Lions at Ford Field. That was an ugly Thanksgiving game. We've learned there's been a lot of ugly Thanksgiving games. But it's time for Lamar to take that next step. The problem is, and it's been a little better with Derrick Henry, that team relies on Lamar doing what Lamar does, both in the pass game and the run game. With the Lions, your Lamar is your running back duo. It's Gibbs and Montgomery. And if for some reason that gets shut down, then you go St. Brown and J-Mo and Laporta.
You know who's going to have a big game today?
Who?
Young Jamison Williams.
You think so?
Because the Bears like to play zone. And for whatever reason, Jamison does very well against zones.
He's such a better route runner and has a better understanding of defenses now. Jared Goff trusts him. We even saw last week against the Colts, he was running some St. Brown routes over the middle.
Yes.
Just I think it was a catch, about 2 yards in front of the first down line, just to keep the ball moving forward. We didn't see those routes out of Jamison Williams last year.
No, he's not
ever. Just
outrunning people.
Exactly.
He is running precise routes. And when he feels like it, outruns people.
Whenever he wants. He almost broke that one screen pass free. Through a bunch of people. He and Jahmyr Gibbs, their speed is different.
I have a soliloquy for you.
Let's hear it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know who hates the Detroit Lions?
Chicago Bears.
Las Vegas.
True.
Las Vegas cannot make money on the Detroit Lions. Las Vegas is losing a ton of money on the Detroit Lions.
Oh, well.
Here's why. No matter how big of a point spread they put on the Lions break it. And people are putting their money on the Detroit Lions. You could have 14-point spreads, which Vegas would never do. They could do 17-point spreads sometimes, which Vegas never does, and the Lions would cover. So they're losing a ton of money. So they hate the Detroit Lions. And here's the other thing. Vegas could get smacked again. Of the money being put on who's going to win the Super Bowl, 31%, nearly a third of the people are saying the Detroit Lions. So if the Lions keep rolling, and then if they go to the Super Bowl and they win it, Vegas may have to tear down a couple of hotels.
They got some issues.
They got some issues.
Do you think they do it today? What's it? Speak. Do you know the last spread that you're aware of from Caesars Sportsbook for the game today?
I saw 7.5.
It was at last check. It was at 9.
It went
according
up to 9.
to Caesars.
According to Caesars,
yes.
Terry, do you think
Not
they
enough.
cover? Not enough.
That's not enough.
By the way, I do have a very interesting stat, if you don't mind
Of
me
course.
saying. The Lions this season are 9-2 against the spread at 81% cover ratio. That is amazing. And who follows behind them? I'm curious if you guys are wondering who would be second behind the Lions in success rate against the spread
In this season,
this season.
Well, we know it's not the Kansas
Their
City
record
Chiefs.
is
We know that.
9-2. I'm sorry, 9-3.
There's another team that's 9-3.
Well, the Lions are 9-2, so this team is just starting. Hasn't done their bye yet.
is it the Commanders?
Nope.
They have four losses.
It's one of the. It's a shocking team. A team you wouldn't believe.
Minnesota.
Steelers,
Nope.
Bills,
Nope.
Ravens.
Nope.
I take it it's not Minnesota.
Nope.
It's not the Chiefs.
Nope.
It's not the Eagles.
Nope.
What other good teams?
Not necessarily a good team,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a good
I
team.
guess you're right. You're right. Who's been a bad team that it?
and who has not had their bye yet.
Who's got a bye? And I'm thinking fantasy football. Who on my roster has a bye coming up?
Yep.
In week 14. Give me a division or a hint.
I'll give you. It's in the AFC.
Oh, that I was going to say
Who
the
gives
Falcons.
a shit about
but-
the AFC?
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm kidding.
yes,
KG,
you do.
do you know? I gotta
do
say
not.
hi to KG because you're all swagged out
KG,
right now.
what up?
Shout
What
out.
up? No, I do not know. I'll take a guess though. The Broncos.
That is correct.
Hey!
Oh my!
Damn.
Ding 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 ding.
That's a good
The
guess.
Denver Broncos and Bo Nix.
They should
That's
get
correct.
KG a show or something.
It should. Bring back Woodward Nights.
Hey,
I'm with that. We got to talk to the higher ups, though. You know that. Oh, yeah. I'm down.
It's a process.
It
It's a
is.
process. So you think they're win by 9.5 or more points?
Yes.
I
And
guess-
you know what? My thing is when I see a spread that's 9.5, 10, I never bet somebody to cover. With the Detroit Lions, they got to show me like 17 points, and then maybe I'll say, maybe that's too much. But they just like cover like in their sleep. They don't care. I mean, they smash you. I mean, last week we said the Lions didn't play well. They won by 18 points. 18.
That's the world we're living in.
In a league where not every game, but half the games or up to 60% of the games are decided by one score.
How about this for another streak, Terry? Do you think the Lions give up a touchdown today?
Sure.
How about this, Terry? Do you think the Lions give up a second half point today?
No.
That continues 4 straight games.
They'll give a touchdown.
Caleb Williams passing the ball. DeAndre Swift rushing the ball.
Well, DeAndre Swift is going to want to show the Lions something because the coaches basically said, bro, you don't have heart. So he's going to want to show the Lions that he's got some heart.
I hope he shows it against Brian Branch along the sideline. Remembering Deuce Staley yelling at him, lower your shoulder, Swift. Don't just run out of bounds. I want a Brian Branch collision.
Swift doesn't want that.
No, he doesn't want that.
Nobody wants that.
He got his money now. He doesn't want to get hurt again. I actually happen to like DeAndre Swift, and I liked him here, but his toughness was in question. He's not a tackle breaker. He's just a make you miss type of guy.
He's Swift.
He's Swift.
He's a Swiftie.
He's Swift, no Taylor.
He's a Swiftie.
We had a lot of right answers actually in the chat.
Yeah.
That against Denver, there were some Dolphins, the Seahawks, Packers, Ravens, Lions covered by double digits last week. Corey Berry said. It's one of those things, Terry. Aiden Hutchinson. How does this team keep winning without Aiden Hutchinson, who played a huge factor in both games last year against the Bears? You remember the first one, the comeback game? Aiden Hutchinson was an animal down the stretch, forced the fumble on Justin Fields before getting the ball. But he kicked it out of the end zone, picked it up, and punted it into the stands. Mm-hmm. But then in the second game, Week 14, Hutch had some tough penalties down the stretch and some poor play down the stretch that let the Bears get that win, solidify that win. How can they keep doing this without Hutch?
I'll tell you how it goes back to the smarts. I think Kirby Joseph doesn't get enough credit for luring quarterbacks into mistakes. He can do that with Caleb Williams because he's young. So that's one. Aaron Glenn has got some magic potion. Remember the guy we want to fire? Let's get rid of his ass. He sucks. Mm-hmm. He's coming up with different schemes. He's blitzing when he has to. He's putting pressure on quarterbacks. They may not be getting there a lot, but they're making people get rid of the ball earlier than they want to. So I think that's the thing like that. We go to the Lions being smart.
Mm-hmm. Are you worried about guys like Carlton Davis being out? Terrion Arnold is expected to play. I don't know how healthy he is. We're going to see Kindle Vildor out there again.
Yeah.
I do have the injury
you
report
mean
here.
Toast Vildor?
There's the injury report.
Toast Vildor. Is this updated?
Yes. Well,
For
no,
today- or
it's not
is this for
updated.
today?
It's the latest one. No, it's not up. It's the latest one from last night. Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I expect both Montgomery and St. Brown to play. But Decker's out. Carlton Davis is out. Carlton Davis, to me, that's a big one. But
any time you have to put Vildor on the field, that's concerning. And whoever is injured because he's on the field, that's a significant injury.
Mm-hmm. Do we see Emmanuel Mosley make his a real debut? Do we see a Meek Robertson bump to the outside? Or do they have faith in Kindle Vildor? My problem is the way to beat the Lions on offense is to have big plays, explosive plays. I worry about that with these weapons. I know the interior is nothing. With these weapons, there are big plays waiting to happen. And Vildor, while maybe he's disciplined in the run game and he's disciplined near the line of scrimmage, the dude gets beat.
He does get beat. I would feel comfortable if it was Mosley and Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
Mosley because of his experience, and Terrion Arnold, he's not a beast yet, but he's becoming a beast.
Yeah. I love Terrion Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be
attitude,
great
too.
Yeah, and if they can make what would Muhammad Ali say? If they can make penicillin out of moldy bread, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson can make something out of the guys on the field today.
Except Vildor.
Except
He's not that good.
He's not the Thrilla in Vanilla Vic. What up, KG?
The rumor or the word on the street is there were conversations had about possibly putting Emmanuel Mosley at the nickel spot and having Amik play the outside, and that would effectively limit some of Vildor's snaps. Amik is somebody that has played on the outside, with his previous team, and he had some success out there. I know his size is a concern, but ultimately I would trust him more out there than I would a Kendall Vildor. But thoughts?
Do you know why they would put Mosley inside in the nickel spot versus just keeping Amik there? And
I think Mosley has experience playing the nickel, and maybe they don't want to put so much on him so fast, because this is a guy that is coming back from two back-to-back injuries that were pretty gruesome, hasn't had a lot of playing time, so they want to be able to get his legs under him. I think the nickel spot is a pretty safe spot to maybe start him out at and then see how he works on the outside as the season goes along.
Yeah, because the thing that we've noticed about the Lions is if a guy gets injured a couple of times, the third one is coming.
Yep.
So maybe that's why they want to save him a little bit.
Wasn't it there? I saw something on X last week about, I think it was November 24th, which was Sunday. There were serious injuries that happen every year kind of across the NFL. I just didn't want to see Mosley out there. And I don't want to see him. I want him to stay healthy so bad. There's something about this guy. The talent was there. There's something about this guy that they've seen and they've stuck with. And if he can be 80% of what he was turning into in San Francisco 2.5 years ago, this secondary with everyone healthy really is the best secondary in the NFL. And you can create coverage sacks from that secondary. Right today, this game against the Bears, we're going to need that defensive line to perform. That's why I wanted to ask the Hutch question, because this defensive line is as important today as any game, both with the rookie quarterback.
And I think the thing, Smith will get better because he's still learning the system. He's learning his teammates. They're learning what he can and can't do. So, the Lions, they always develop somebody. They're going to develop Zadarius Smith, where he's going to become a monster. I don't know if it's going to happen today, but by the end of the year, he will be a monster out there.
Yeah, he's just going to keep getting better. And Terry, I thought he looked great last weekend. For his third week with the team, his second game, I loved what Zadarius Smith looked like.
I thought he looked solid.
But I liked how they used him too. Mm-hmm. He's solid, and that's all you need. He's not a Hutch replacement. He's more of a Davenport replacement, but really he's just another versatile weapon, like all of the guys they now have on that defensive line. You got Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader stuff in the middle, and Aleem McNeil is playing like a first-team All-Pro defensive tackle. But
all
then,
right, I'm glad you noticed that finally.
You convinced me, Terry. You got me. But then, when that's happening, all you need is your edge guys and the guys you move all around the line to be disciplined. You just need them to set the edge and keep the edge so Aleem McNeil can get his pressure.
I think you need more than that. You're right for the regular season, but the playoffs are a different animal.
I can appreciate that.
At some point, Zadarius Smith is going to have to make a couple huge plays during the game because the Lions are not going to score 50 points every game during the playoffs. They'll be in the 20s, and they won't even get the broader 35 sometimes.
Yeah.
But games are more defensive. Teams know each other better. Players are more focused and concentrated on the opposition, so it's going to be tougher, which means your better players need to make huge plays.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, San Francisco, Lions kicking their ass at halftime, right? They needed a play from one of their wide receivers and didn't get it. Mm-hmm. They needed a play or a sack from the edge rushers and didn't get it.
Actually, I missed one.
They didn't even get a play from Brian Branch because McCaffrey broke a couple tackles of his. So you need to, in the playoffs, it's not only good football, but it's about making impactful plays.
I think Zadarius Smith can do just that. I think this trade's going to turn out to be so much more than we even thought. I think it's a championship move. Not to say that this move guarantees them a Super Bowl, guarantees them a championship, but I think it's a move that champions make.
No, I agree with you, but it can't be just, Zadarius Smith is out there. He's doing yeoman's work. He's got to do better than that.
It's got to be more.
There's got to be more.
And it's going to be more.
It will.
Because he can win in so many different ways. I spent a lot of time over the last 4 days watching Zadarius Smith, and he's not like the world's best athlete, but he's a mature veteran with extremely violent hands, a really deep pass rushing bag. He can play with his hand in the dirt. He can play standing up. He can play on the inside, on the outside. He's great in run defense. He's great in pass rush. What he does with his long arm move, the way he can extend the guy on run plays, starting with the hand in the dirt, getting lower than the tackle or the guard, standing them up and throwing the rhythm of that run play off. That's where he makes a difference. He had 5 QB pressures last week, too. 2 of them got called back because of Lions penalties. Who?
Rod Marinelli, talking about pad level.
For him, for Broderick Martin, for these defensive linemen, that's what it's about. That's what it's about for Ali McNeil, too. That's why he's so explosive and making these guards look silly. Because he's getting lower. His pad level is getting lower.
He is. He's lifting dudes up in the air.
And then what'd you say? He's ripping his helmet off, spinning
Oh, yeah,
around like a
so
bottle
he can
cap?
stop him. You got to take his helmet off like a bottle cap, pop it off.
Pop it off.
It's the only way you can stop that man.
Only way you can stop. I think other GMs are going to be cringing for the next year and a half at how they let Zadarius Smith go to this Lions team. Wait till Hutch comes back.
Wait
till Hutch comes back.
Right,
Holy
Cleveland
shit.
is a bad organization, one.
Yes.
They're starting all over. They realize they made a huge mistake with Watson, the quarterback.
Watson.
So they are like an expansion team. So Zadarius Smith can never, ever, ever help them. Because by the time they get their stuff together, it's going to be like 2028, 2029.
They're toast.
Right.
They should have just sent Myles Garrett over with
They should
Zadarius
have.
Smith. Or just giving him up any. The Browns are a problem. Bears have their issues too. What are some of the keys? Like what? I don't even ask this question. It's not about what the Lions can do. It's what do the Bears have to do to beat the Lions.
How
But
about
what's
this?
this game? Okay,
What do we want to see today? Because we already know what the keys are. What do we want to see? I want to see Brian Branch knock the living snot out of DeAndre Swift. Now, that's your boy and everything. That's what I want to see. I want to see Caleb Williams harass into 2 picks. All right? That would be good. I want to see J-Mo have a couple passes for at least 30 yards.
multiple.
Right. So that's what I want to see. Now, will we see it? Probably.
I think
we'll
so. You stole the Jameson Williams pick earlier. I think it could be a monster day out of him. I also think this is Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm thinking going into this game that they're going to limit Montgomery's usage and it's going to be a heavy Jahmyr Gibbs game. And then, they'll use David Montgomery maybe heavier a week from Thursday when they play the Packers on Thursday Night Football.
Well, you know what I think they're going to try to get Jahmyr Gibbs going. They want Montgomery to heal up.
Yeah. That's
so
correct.
he'll be ready for down the stretch.
But what Jahmyr Gibbs can do, as well as Montgomery and Steve Palazzolo, who has a podcast, I think he used to be with PFF. Now it's called Check the Mic with Steve Palazzolo. He created a play on, remember Kyle Brandt's angry runs? He's talking about the Lions and what he calls their disrespectful runs. And he talks about when it's 3rd and 4th down, and it's between 3 yards and 8 yards to go, where every team is going to pass the ball.
Right.
But not the Lions. What they did last week, 3rd and 8, Gibbs picks up a 17-yard run. 3rd and 6.
But and let's go back to that. 3rd and 8, running play. You know what Lion fans will say? How stupid of them. Why would you do that? I could have predicted that, but it worked.
Yes.
So with the Lions offense, and this is the thing that makes it magical, you really do not know if they're going to pass or run. You don't know what they're going to do.
No idea.
Then when you figure out what they're going to do, then they throw another wrinkle in there. Or Penei Sewell is knocking 4 of your guys into the front row. That's what makes them so efficient. Or Jared Goff is just back there throwing darts, completing 12, 14, 16 passes in a row. How are you supposed to stop that?
You can't. You can't. You have to stop them in the red zone, which teams haven't been doing. You have to shut them down on third down so it's 4th and 8 and not 4th and 3 because they're going to go for it on 4th and 3. And you have to score touchdowns.
That is true.
Which teams don't do against the Lions.
They get those cute little field goals. But if you're kicking field goals, you know what that means? You're losing.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff is not challenging defenses. He's just picking. This dude is open 5 yards down the road, I hit him. This dude is open 8 yards down, I hit him. He is, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner, but he's being the game manager, which is fine.
Totally fine.
As long as you're winning, I don't care how you do it.
He's an elite game manager.
Yes.
And that's what you want. Caleb Williams is everything. He's everything that Goff haters want Goff to be. But without an offensive line, Caleb Williams is trash. He blows.
Well, there's one other thing that Caleb Williams does. Instead of just taking what the defense is giving him, Caleb Williams sees somebody else who's in tight coverage. I can hit him. Mm-hmm. So he's challenging the defenses, but most of the time the defenses win when he does that.
Right. But I was told that Jared Goff's a product of the offensive line, a product of Ben Johnson, a product of all of the weapons around him.
Which he is.
There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't take away from
Not a crime.
how good Jared Goff is as a quarterback.
Yeah, and the thing is, you could get somebody else in the same system with the same offensive line, the same wide receivers getting open, and it won't work. They'll flub that. So Jared Goff checks his ego at the door every time he walks into that locker room. He said, okay, I don't have to play hero ball. Mm-hmm. I don't have to show fans or the media what I'm capable of. I don't need to show off my arm. I just need to play smart, and there's that key word again, smart football.
That's it. That's the key. It's mental. It's all smart. And when Jared Goff, when your quarterback and your captain does that, especially after getting paid, what message does that send to the rest of your team? Whether you're Zadarius Smith or Josh Paschal, am I going to go out on this play and try to be the hero and blow my assignment just to try to go get that sack on Caleb Williams or whatever cornerback's there? No. They just know they need to do their job because they trust that the guys behind them or the guys next to them are also going to do their job. Because Malcolm Rodriguez, who's your third or fourth string linebacker, can step up when Anzalone's out and be as good a linebacker as anybody on the field.
Right.
Jack Campbell, a second-year player, can step up and be a Pro Bowl linebacker. And then you got Kirby and Brian Branch way back there waiting to pick the ball off.
Mm-hmm. Rodriguez is a guy, he was praised when he first got here because he was working hard. He was doing everything the coaches wanted him to do. Then they got the talent, and so he disappeared a little bit. Well, the talent got injured, and so now he's back being Rodrigo.
Yeah. That's why he's stayed on this roster. That's why, all right, we got to work in Jack last year with Anzalone and Derek Barnes, so we'll move Rodrigo to fullback. All right, we'll have him catch some passes out of the backfield. We'll just use him as just a special teams player for this stretch of games. Now, you know what? When they need him, Kelvin Shepard thinks of him like a starter. He's a starting linebacker out of there to this coaching staff.
Well, back in the day, he would be a starter. He would be a starter. You know who would be a starter? James Houston, who got cut. He would be a starter on the previous Lion teams.
But where is he now?
He gone. He's in Meyer working stock. Somewhere.
Stock.
he got the 4 a.m. shift.
Doing the laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. He literally shit his pants out of Detroit.
Right.
I can't believe it. It wasn't really was that a surprise to you or just...
No, it wasn't because, I said there's something going on. This coaching staff in him, there's something going on here. They don't have belief in him because he's a healthy scratch. And they let him play, and he was decent. He was all right. But they just didn't feel like he could give them that boom. They want guys who are going to give them that home run every week, which you have to have. You can't just have solid, good players out there because the Lions have only lost one game, and they still got people breathing down their necks.
Mm-hmm. Your Vikings and the Packers are right behind.
You know, I never experienced this. A team 10-1, but every game is a must-win. Because you want to have those playoff games at Ford Field. The prize you're looking at is bigger. It's not just, let's make the playoffs and win as many games as possible. You're here to win a championship, which means you got to beat Chicago today.
Yes.
You got to beat your division games.
Yes.
In particular, you can afford to lose one game, but to an AFC team. So if the Lions and the Eagles tie in the standings, and that happens, the Lions have one more loss than the Eagles, and they end up tied, the Lions will get that tiebreaker.
They need to stay ahead of the Eagles, who have a very easy schedule down the stretch.
Yes, they
Correct.
do.
They might win out.
Well, damn, it looks like the Lions' schedule is easy, too, no matter who they play. Lions' schedule could be, I don't know, it could be Kansas City, Green Bay. Who else is good? Rams.
Bills.
They do
Philly.
play the Bills.
And it's an easy schedule.
Thing is, the Lions' schedule for the rest, it's made up of division opponents and the Bills, and 49ers may be out of it by week 17. They may be toast.
They're cooked.
Toast.
Maybe.
But still, they're going into that game, whether they're, what would they be at that point? 5-11? The 49ers, they're going to send a message. They remember what happened last year.
You know, I want to see the Niners make the playoffs
Why?
because they
They're
have
bad.
that playoff pedigree, and I want to see if, and I think this will happen, I want to see the Lions beat them when San Francisco gets their act together and they're healthy and stuff. I'm all about beating names. So I would like to see the Lions go through the playoffs with victories over San Francisco and Philadelphia before going to the Super Bowl, where no matter who makes it to the Super Bowl, it's going to be a name. So it's going to be Baltimore, Kansas City,
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
What would you think about a Lions-Steelers Super Bowl?
That'd be cool. Maybe Jerome Bettis will come out of retirement
Let's go.
and play for the Steelers.
Get a little coin toss before the
Right.
Super Bowl down in New Orleans.
I'll make him a honorary captain.
Might as well. No, you said it. The Lions, their goal is to go get that number 1 seed. They can play anywhere. They're happy to go on the road and beat the piss out of you. But if they can have their crowd at Ford Field for the remainder of the playoff, for the entirety of the playoffs, and then go down to New Orleans in a dome, the Lions can beat anyone, anywhere. I just prefer not to have to go to Philadelphia.
Yeah, no,
just
you're
prefer
correct
it.
about it, but it's pretty cool about what we're seeing with the Lions on the road, with the
It's
fans
special.
and the way they play on the road. They're not intimidated. Jared Goff can actually pass the ball in the cold. Hey, how about that?
They're just a dome team.
Right.
They showed up.
You can get rid of all that stuff.
It's all gone. It's literally Thanksgiving is the one streak, the one curse on the Lions right now that they're gonna break. They're gonna break. Do the Bears have any chance? What could they do? What could happen for them to beat the Lions? I mean, is it just turnovers for Goff for the offense? Is it?
Well, if Jared Goff, and we never know when the turnovers are going to come. He can go like a whole month with no turnovers. Then the next game he'll have 3, 4, 5. So what they have to do is they have to turn over Jared Goff. If they can get him 3 picks, the Bears have a shot.
Yeah.
If he doesn't turn the ball over, this will be a blowout.
Yeah. This was a game we're worried about. Or at least I was. I didn't think it was going to be a gimme before the season because that Bears defense was really good, and now they're just pretty good. I think they're underachieving this year. Montez Sweat wasn't what he was when he joined them last year. But, again, Taylor Decker's out. There's an opportunity to get some pressure on Goff. I'm excited to see, does Skipper start at left tackle? Do they start Jamarco Jones at left tackle and just use Skipper in the same way as they did if Taylor Decker was playing? Nonetheless, that great defensive line of last year, they can't stop the run. They can't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah, I think they'll play Skipper at left tackle, but they're going to give him some more help. He needs a little help over there.
We'll see Brock Wright on the field a lot.
Yeah. Now, to me, and, I'm probably off base on this, I would move Sewell to left tackle.
You think so? You want to blow everything up a bit? Like you want to make instead of just keeping Sewell where he is, move him over, put someone new at right.
He's going to be the Lions' starting left tackle at some point of his career.
You think so?
Yeah. Taylor Decker is older. Taylor Decker's getting injured. Penei Sewell will be the starting left tackle for the Detroit Lions. Maybe next year, the year after. At some point, that's going to be his job.
But you don't think unless they find a free agent right tackle or Gio Manu turns out to be the right tackle of the future, to me it's much easier to find a left tackle in the draft from college. Like the best offensive linemen, especially from the college, are usually left tackle.
Or you know what you can do? Do what you did with Sewell. Sewell was the best left tackle in college football. They moved him right tackle.
He's a unicorn, though.
Right, but you can do that. You can do that with other people.
No, you can't.
Yes,
not everybody.
Can. He's not the only unicorn in the world.
He's one of them. There are few humans in this world built like that man.
Okay.
Not even in his family.
All right, young fella. Did you watch the movie The Blind Side?
I did.
The Blind Side. Was he a left tackle or a right tackle?
He was a left tackle.
You know why?
Why?
Because that's the blind side.
Right.
You want to protect the blind side. That's what Penei Sewell was built to do. Protect the blind side and then just beat the hell out of people.
Well,
that's what he's going to do at some point.
Traditionally, yes. Protect the blind side.
I see what's happening with Frady Cat. A Frady Cat over here. I thought you were a man.
I am a man.
No, you're not. You're over here scared.
I'm not scared.
Move Penei Sewell to left tackle. What's going to happen? The whole offensive line is going to fall apart.
It's not going to fall apart. You keep him at right tackle. You draft the best left tackle you can find in the draft, and you call it a day. Because, yes, it is Jared Goff's blind side, but the way they run play action and the way they fake it to both sides, really the interior is his blind side. Because it's not easy. Play action is not an easy thing. Jared Goff is the best play action quarterback in the NFL. He has to turn his back on a defense every time he does play action. Caleb Williams isn't good at play action. Jaden Daniels isn't. Bo Nix isn't. Young quarterbacks aren't good because it's hard to turn your back on these beasts coming at you and then flip back around, read the defense real quick, and find the open man. Jared Goff does it the best of anybody. So you need the right side protected and the left side.
He does, but what I'm seeing recently, he's getting hit more. And the hits are coming from the blind side. So my fear is he'll be farting around in the backfield, thinks he's got somebody open, and then somebody's going to blast him, and his helmet's going to pop up in the air, and he may not wake up again.
I don't want that to happen.
Okay, then Penei Sewell has got to protect the blind side.
He does. What Jared Goff is great at, though, is getting rid of the ball, whether it's throwing it away, throwing it into the dirt on the screen pass, or taking a sack, something Caleb Williams doesn't know how to do.
What if the sack is so violent he doesn't get up again? That's what I'm fearful of.
Yeah, that's what any team should worry about.
Because dudes can get a clear shot at him and just blast him.
Mm-hmm. But I was told, Jared Goff, he needs to run. He needs to be able to scramble. Like, we need this mobile quarterback.
Stop.
Where they get the most hits? A running quarterback out of the pocket. Anthony Richardson lowering his shoulder on Brian Branch. That was his right shoulder. Yeah, it didn't hurt him that play.
Right.
He's got to throw with that
Jared
shoulder
Goff
for the rest of his career.
is not going to throw his shoulder at anybody.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's a benefit. Jared Goff, part of why he's so good or smart or he's had this longevity because he doesn't get hurt. Because he doesn't scramble. He just throws a play, live for another day.
When he rushed for 21 whopping yards a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Forgot about that,
Vanilla Vic. That's Vanilla Vic. That's prime. He knows when to scramble. He just doesn't do it very often. He took his chance. What I don't like is that first drive where he sort of thought he was going to scramble around and he got sacked, moved him out of field goal range. I don't like that. That was not a good decision. That was the last one of the day. Someone seemed to have learned from his mistake.
That's a slow man.
I'm just saying he's not fast. But if you remember in the Coliseum a couple years back against Patrick Mahomes, remember one of the greatest games I've ever seen. Jared Goff He had a nice little scramble touchdown. He did the finger roll over the goalpost. Didn't get fined because he didn't dunk it, because he couldn't. Beat Mahomes. I don't think he's lost to Patrick Mahomes ever.
Okay, good. Who would you rather have, Patrick Mahomes or Jared Goff?
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure you weren't
I'm not
in silly space.
No, I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid.
But you know what? I'd rather have Jared Goff with a very good offensive line than Patrick Mahomes with a patchwork offensive line. Because even Patrick Mahomes melted when he didn't have his offensive line in the Super Bowl with against Tom Brady.
It's weird how quarterbacks need an offensive line.
Everybody needs help.
Yeah.
But we only bitch about people needing help when we don't totally respect them. Patrick Mahomes has had Jason Kelsey.
Travis
Kelsey. He's had him. He's had a good offensive line. He used to have receivers that could actually catch the ball. He doesn't have that anymore, but he still got Kelsey.
No,
Because
because
DeAndre Hopkins.
they had to pay Chris Jones. They had to pay the defensive end of the ball, defensive side of the ball. Patrick Mahomes is special, but you're right. Jared Goff with an offensive line, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I have him as number 4 in the MVP race, behind 2 quarterbacks and a running back. How high do you have Saquon Barkley? Before we get to our final score predictions, it is 9 o'clock. Saquon Barkley's had a special year for the Eagles. How high do you have him? Number 1, 2, 3, 4?
2.
Who's your leading MVP vote getter right now?
Right now, I would probably say Lamar Jackson.
All right.
You know who's in the running and shouldn't be?
Who? Herbert?
Mahomes. Mahomes, all his turnovers and all his barely winning stuff is still like a real high selection for that. He's not high on my list right now.
He's the 5th highest betting odds. He's number 5 right now in terms of Vegas odds to win it.
I don't even know if he should be top 10. Maybe 10.
It's hard. I think he's there. He's a quarterback of a 10-1 team.
Right.
And there's probably a little bit of history trail behind to give him that. But would you rather have Mahomes at 5 or Joe Burrow at 5? Joe Burrow's team blows. Joe Burrow's having a historic season.
Yeah, I think Burrow is really doing well.
Yeah.
His team is not.
Yeah.
But he's a bad dude.
Yeah. They would be defeated. They would be 0-11 if not for him.
Correct.
Yeah. So I got Saquon, Josh Allen, Lamar, Goff. I can't decide between Mahomes and Burrow. I'm probably going Burrow, actually.
Yeah, Burrow is ahead of Mahomes right now.
Yes.
But the thing Mahomes is doing, he is winning games, and he'll probably do something magical in December where I would say, you know what, I got to put him back up there.
The Chiefs now know. They know. They're like the Lions. They're going to start unrolling everything. They want to play their best football in December, into January, and then into the playoffs. That's all they care about. They know they will be there. All right, chat. It's time for score predictions, game predictions. Just want to thank you all for joining us today. Woodward and Maine. This is Thanksgiving. Lions play the Bears at 12:30 p.m. today down at Ford Field. Get your score predictions in the chat. We're going to go around the horn. Any last thoughts you have of the game and your score prediction? I know, Pete, you don't have to give the actual score. KG, you can if you want. I don't know if you give predictions on later shows. Also do our Twitch stream. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch. I haven't been monitoring the chat very much. PV Miller, Jade Falcon 86. Get your score predictions in the chat. Terry, Lions versus Bears. The line is 9.5. What's your final score prediction?
The
what are you
Lions
thinking?
will cover the 9.5. They're not going to burn it up on offense, but I can see a nice 28-10 victory.
Okay. 28-10, Terry says. KG, any final thoughts on the game and your score prediction?
Yeah, they'll be able to limit what Caleb Williams and his offense can do. Swift is not going to do anything on the ground. I expect the Lions offense to do what they always do, man. As long as they come out and play correct, I got 35-17, Lions victory. Let's go.
35-17.
Young man, one question.
Yeah.
Does Brian Branch decapitate Swift at some point? Okay.
Absolutely.
Because that's what I want to see.
He going to decapitate somebody. If it's not Swift, it'll be somebody else.
Okay. I want to see Swift specifically.
By the way, did you hear Terry? And maybe KG, you can help me relive this. JB giving his his Bears prediction on Wake Up Woodward.
It was hilarious.
I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit, or it might not be the perfect impression, but he goes, shoot, what was the line? I don't want to
disrespect the Bears. And then he gave his score of, what was it, 34 to 10 or
34 to 10. He's like, but I give him 10 points. He's like, I don't want, and he said it so JBS, just smooth. Like, I don't want to disrespect the Bears, but 34 to 10.
You know what? He is an innocent soul.
He's the best.
He doesn't know what he does.
He's the absolute best. I love it.
Love JB.
Pete.
Yes, sir.
No score prediction. You're giving that on the next show where you also give fantasy advice.
That's correct.
Betting advice.
Yep.
But tell me your final thoughts on this game before I give mine.
Final thoughts on the game is that I hate the Bears. Bears suck. I've been anti-Bears since they blew it against Arizona. After they blew it against the Commanders, I said if they blew it against Arizona after what they did against the Commanders, how they lost that game, that their season's over. Well, their season's over. They've lost 5 in a row. There's no way they can beat the Lions. I think the Lions are just going to come out and just pound them like they did against Tennessee, like they did against Jacksonville. Just run up the score. I would take the over today in this game, guys. This is going to be a Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra, St. Brown game.
And you know what we're not going to see today? We're not going to see a Chicago Bears fan take over.
That's right.
Which we've seen in the past.
Yep.
It's not going to happen. Lion fans not going to allow it.
Nope.
No. What Bears fan want to drive all the way up here for the funeral that's about to take place at 12:30?
They got flights, cheap flights.
Ain't no tickets left.
Thanksgiving. Yeah,
It's $500 for standing room.
Yeah, Lion fans don't give up their tickets. There's someone at Roast wearing a Walter Payton jersey.
Yeah, that's Nia.
Walter
Shout out
Payton's,
Nia, man.
Who's that?
Nia. She works behind the counter.
that's Nia.
Oh, there's someone working there wearing
Yeah.
Bears.
Yeah.
Shout out Nia. She's from Chicago.
she's all good.
I questioned her about it, and she said she was from Chicago.
I
so I
saw the
let her
wrong
slide.
jersey when I got into this.
Fair. How about
But
some
it's
of
a
these
Peyton jersey.
How about some of these predictions? Seth Floyd says 28-24 Lions. Vincent E 31-9. Jay Cruz in 71. Pew pew. Happy Thanksgiving to all. He says. Greg Elspa 29-10. Cryptomania 28-6. IT Hips 31-20. Brian Ruth 28-9. I'm feeling a lot of gaps in between the Bears score and the Lions score.
Yeah, I mean,
We got a
this
confident fan
should be I hate using the word easy, but it should be a comfortable victory for the Lions today.
It should be. What do they call the games where it's a score that has never happened before? What's that phrase? Scoregami.
Yeah.
They had one last week.
They've had 3 so far this season.
Was it last week or the week before against the Jaguars? 52
It was
to
the
6?
Jaguars score with 52-6 with Scoregami.
Scoregami. I don't know if this one has ever happened before, but it feels like one.
They have 3 so far this year.
I got
Here.
the Lions winning 39-16.
I'm going to say that's never happened before.
Right? It doesn't.
It don't sound like
That'll
it
be
has.
Scoregami.
It does.
It's a weird score.
Jake Bates has a couple field goals in there. Cairo Santos. What is that? 7-10, 13, 3 field goals and 1 touchdown for the Bears. That's where it came from.
Okay.
39-16. Are you able to check if it's Scoregami? Chase is going to check while we say goodbye to everyone, Terry. I'm actually for real. Okay, say that. Whatever
What?
you're going to say. To give me a new name, a nickname, Paddlefoot, Dummy, Arthur. Go Red Wings, by the way.
How about Punky Brewster?
Is that an actual character? Is that a girl?
Yes.
Very hot girl.
She was not hot.
The kid wasn't hot, but she bloomed into a very beautiful woman.
Okay, I never saw her after that, but Punky Brewster was not hot.
Oh, wow.
No, but do you think she has some extra nail polish to give to Caleb Williams before the game, after the game?
No.
Halftime? A pink purse for Caleb? I'm not going to go there,
now,
but
now is Caleb wearing those fake fingernail things?
he might be. The long ones, you know, so to scratch his neck if he needs. Like,
yeah,
to
and
calm
every
down.
time he releases the ball, it goes because it just hits those nails.
I don't believe in the Bears this year. I think Caleb Williams could be something in the future. I worry about leading a locker room of men. To be determined. Was it a Scoregami, Chase? Never happened before. 39-16. Head to Caesars Sportsbook. Everybody go put that score down. It's happening.
Don't.
It's happening. Don't put much money, but all you got to do $5 is probably will win you $5,000.
Yeah.
You don't even need a parlay.
Don't.
Terry,
Yes.
Honestly, I'm very thankful to be doing this show with you.
I am
It's been a
too
blessing.
with you, young man. You're a fine young man, and
Paddlefoot. Chat.
Punky Brewster.
Pete,
Yes, sir.
Chase, KG, thank you guys for helping us
Thanks,
today.
guys.
Chat, both in the Woodward Sports YouTube live chat and the Twitch stream chat.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being here on Thanksgiving. Again, Lions play at 12:30, but you know what? This isn't the last show on Woodward Sports today.
Yep.
We got a lot going on in this studio from 10 to 12. We got Neil and Sean Belegian hosting the pregame show where they break down the game. Much more X's and O's, fantasy advice, betting advice, all of that stuff. Then we got the live watch party in here. Not hosted by the heavyweights, but hosted by a whole group of people.
Yeah.
Stick,
We'll all be there.
Anson, we got food, and then Stick and Anson are hosting the post-game show here too, taking calls. It's a full day of Woodward Sports streams, Terry.
Full day, and guess what?
What?
We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
That's when we will see you. This was
Don't miss
Woodward
us.
and Maine. Sorry? Take us
Don't
out.
miss us.
Take us out, Terry.
Don't miss us. Woodward and Maine. Me and my man Broder over here.
Gee.
The rest of the gang. We'll be back here at 7 a.m. Peace out. Enjoy yourself. Don't choke on that turkey bone.
No.
But have fun
Just the
and enjoy the
breasts.
family. And no
the
fighting with your uncle.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.